but he doesn't do it. He doesn't create it. So so I'm actually in this same argument with my wife and my friend. But it's a weird thing to say it because it makes me sound like a big asshole, right? But when you talk about whatever, like my wife said, did you see my post? It's all about what Trump's done and blah blah blah. And I personally I said to her, look, I don't mean this to be insulting or anything like that. But you're just on a different level than I am. I've been there. You know, I've been to that oh, Trump's the bad guy and let's focus on what the president's saying and that kind of shit. But at this point I'm long past that. And my wife says, but Trump just signed all this and he just put this, he just made all these decisions that affect our everyday life. And that's sort of the difference between my wife and I, and my friend and I too, is that I don't at all believe Trump did anything. Trump does what Trump's told to do. Trump didn't sit there and figure out all the wording and the legislate. Okay, so I'm going to have this thing say this and oh, what else can I do? Oh, you know what? I'm going to have it say this and he's not writing that policy. He's not scheduling the press conference. He's signing a bunch of pieces of paper to make you believe that your choice in him is a reality. And that we have some sort of choice and that the president that we elect is who, makes the laws and does all this. And he doesn't. And it's just like anything else. Like I always say to people, do you honestly think the president sits behind the desk and what's up? Cool. Oh, sweet. I'll be down in a minute. Do you think Trump sits behind his desk and he's given all the information and then he sits and he balances the budget every day or every week or whatever it may be and got his little calculator and his green visor, the clear see-through visor, and he's got his little adding machine and he's trying to figure out the budget and balancing. Okay, everything checks out. Do you really think that's what Trump does? Do you really think Trump sits there and okay, so Mitch McConnell, what are we gonna do about the abortion stuff? When does he do that? Because from what I can tell, he spends a lot of time playing golf. And then there's the traveling, and there's the speech memorization and all that. But it's like he doesn't write his speeches. There's a clear difference between Trump shooting from the hip and Trump either, I don't know if he's like reading off a special contact lenses or something, but when he's saying what he's supposed to say, he like leans back and goes into this sort of like glazed over kind of thing and he just talks like, but then when he's actually shooting from and like even when he's doing that, he'll be like, and I think that blah blah blah, and yes, I think that way and I believe that. Like he's like he's telling you that he's not reading his own words because he's agreeing with it like he's not reading his own words. And it's the same thing with all of it. My buddy, it's the same thing. It's like he says I'm against the Zionist, and I was like, dude, that's like saying you're against the deep state. Who the fuck are the Zionists? The Zionists are just this idea, and it's not, it's the Jays that call you Goyim. it doesn't matter if they're Zionists or self-proclaimed or whatever Zionists. All Jays call you Goyim. And they don't do it like in a positive way. It has negative connotations 100% of the time. And it's really strange for me because it's funny because I always get to these places where I feel like I found like this, holy shit, how is it going to get any crazier than this? How is it going to get any more obvious than this? And then I find, and one of the things my buddy, it's like he doesn't understand when it's like, it's not free Palestine. And he says, dude, I could have been one of those children. My mom is from the West Bank. And it's like, dude, that's stupid. You couldn't have been anything other than who you are. But if you only care about Palestine because you're a part of that, that's your family or whatever, that's your peoples, that's more just bullshit. Why? It has nothing to do with, like for me, it has nothing to do with any sort of connection. I have zero connection to that land. As a matter of fact,
did, that you would feel stronger about.
You really think so? You really think I could feel stronger about it? I don't know anybody that does what I do.
Well, just because they don't do what you do doesn't mean they don't feel passionately about it.
Well, but how could you possibly say that they can feel stronger than I do? If they're not willing to ruin their lives over it, they can't feel stronger than I do. But it's that again, that free Palestine, that mentality, that mentality that you feel like if somebody says, hey, that's anti-Semitism, then try to defend it and be like, no, it's not it. Instead of you embracing it, hell yeah, no, fuck yeah, I'm very proud of my anti-Semitism. And it's because you're ignorant. And you're made to be ignorant. You're made to be stupid. Don't get mad at me because you're stupid. They make you stupid on purpose so that you don't know the things I'm talking about. The last thing they want is a bunch of people running around knowing what Semitism means. And you know what the proof of that is? In 2021, they had hearings to officially change the spelling of anti-Semitism from ANTI hyphen capital SEMITISM to all one word, ANTI SEMITISM. And the stated reason for that is because they didn't want people thinking anti-Semitism was opposing something called Semitism. They literally tried, they're successfully hiding the fact that it's two words and that Semitism has a definition, it has a meaning. So much so that they also, like, it's strange when you compare it. Like, think about the last time you saw some Hindu legislation. Think about the last time you saw some Buddhist legislation. Think about the last time you saw, because you might say, oh, well, those are small. They're not. There's a lot more of them than there are. The Jays make up 0.183% of the world's population. Maybe it's 1 to 2% of the U.S. population. How long have I been like this? Like what? I've always had a problem with religion. I've always had a problem fitting in because fitting in seemed like it was the shitty thing to do. Like at my kids' school, right? The only way they think to be popular is to be a dickhead because all the kids are dickheads and they gravitate towards the dickheads. If you're part of the popular group, you're expected to be a dickhead. I could never do that. I never did fit in with you people. I never did think there was a God. I never went to church. I never thought, hey, they killed my God on a cross. Why don't I wear a cross? Because that'll show. That'll be respectful. Like your dad hangs himself in the bathroom, you know. So what, you're gonna wear a noose necklace for the rest of your life to honor your father?
I forgot to tell you when I was in that party store with all the people in there today. This little boy must have been 4 or 5 years old. Walks up to the store owner's wife, the one that's the doctor's assistant, whatever she is, has her clinic there. And he walks up to her and he shows her he has a new little cross. And he's holding it out. She goes, "Oh my goodness, that's just like mine." And all the women, "Oh, and there's mine, and here's mine." And one's going, "Praise Jesus." And I'm just standing there in the room looking around. There's probably about 15 people there. I don't get it. And now this little 4 or 5-year-old, like,
That's what you're getting. That's what it is.
he thinks
That's how you indoctrinate the next generation.
And he was so thrilled.
Because he doesn't get that. If he were to walk up and be like, "Hey, I got straight A's," he'd be like, "It's really good." It wouldn't cause an uproar like that. Now he's like, "Okay, if I do this, I get the attention." Okay.
It was really sick.
Yeah.
It was a really icky feeling.
Do you need an exorcism? Fuck yeah, I do. Oh my God, what I wouldn't give to have something like that happen. But you know what? Preachers fear me more than they fear a person possessed. Guarantee you that. You'll see many more religious people on a page where somebody's claiming the devil possesses them or something like that than you will here where you have somebody going, "Hey, why don't you tell me why you believe that shit?"
Inevitable discovery. If we can prove that we would have come up with this without you.
But see, this is, and like I said, when I always keep coming to this place where I think I find this smoking gun, this holy shit kind of thing. And I really do, like every day since I discovered Hollywoodism, a movie made in 1998 by the Jays, so you can't hide behind its conspiracy theory or it's this and that. They made a movie about how they magically just yada yada controlled Hollywood, East and West Coast, and made America into the image that they wanted it to be. And that we all live in the J dream, basically. And that the American dream is basically the J dream out of the ghettos. And like, it's all these things that if I were to just say them, I'm going to get accused of anti-Semitism and people are just going to shut down and this, that, and the other. So maybe if you see a movie that they make, they brag about it. I don't know. I mean, Israel keeps bragging about genocide, but nobody seems to notice that. Show us something cool and I'll give you $5. You're looking at it, dude. Fucking throw me the $5, man. Right there. You want to see it again? Right there. You watch it every fucking day. Come on, dude. Even the fact that that was my answer deserves the $5. Come on.
Why don't you show them how you can make your thumb cut in two?
No. Too bad it's YouTube, bro. I'd show you my micro penis. That's pretty cool. Think about this shit, man. And that's another thing. That's what I was telling my buddy. Like, I don't have another goal. My purpose is, my goal, my whatever you want to call it, is to end Jayism. And my buddy says, like, all these, "Oh, dude, they send wars and it'll be a bloody conflict and blah, blah, blah." And I don't believe that way. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the average Jay, you know, they receive some of the benefit. But I think there's probably, just like how the average white kid nowadays is a lot less racist than the generations before him. I think there's probably a lot of Jays out there, younger Jays especially, that struggle with the shit. That struggle with the supremacy bullshit and the narrative, but also don't know any different. And I just think you know, if we can show the majority of them that, like, basically, the life I'm talking about is better for everyone except people that enjoy other people's suffering. If you enjoy other people's suffering, then, you know, you're probably not going to like the world I'm talking about. But everybody, even the dumb Jays, will benefit from the life I'm talking about.
What do you mean by benefit? They'll have food and water but not have better stuff than us? Because to them, that's not a benefit.
A benefit is, especially being the most persecuted people in the world, they won't have to be persecuted anymore. I mean, does knowing that you have the best TV, like, does knowing that your neighbors can't afford the TV you have, does that make your TV watching experience any better? You know, I mean, it's like your TV watching experience is good for you because you're experiencing it. It doesn't matter what other people are watching. And it's that sort of mentality. Again, I don't think this is light bulb kind of or light switch kind of shit. But it's education. Oh, look, we have a dumb J finally. Finally, a dumb J on here showing their true blue and white colors. Which Mean Girls? The original Mean Girls? Or that bullshit remake? I just feel so compelled. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I don't even feel like being live, but I'm here. I just, I know that right now there are innocent women and children being killed. There are men being tortured and humiliated and all that shit inside these Israeli prisons. I know that right now in Hollywood, there are, like I was thinking about it earlier. We all know that Hollywood is full of all these horrible rape stories. And we only know such a small piece of it. Imagine how many people have horrible Hollywood rape stories. And so many of them involve these disgusting Jays. Why are we all so okay with that?
No, they really are the perfect victims, aren't they? Girls struggling with emotional problems, mental illness, chemical addiction.
I mean, it's interesting because you have all these clearly bisexual, homosexual Jays that run Hollywood that rape everybody. Men, you know, women, they rape all of their subservients, you know, their slaves. And fuck, what was I gonna say?
You're a venal predator.
Oh, and yet still these are the same, it's the same Hollywood that put out all of the anti-gay movies and shit. The reason we don't like the reason we have such a gay trans distraction is because of them. If they would have just been more open and honest, then did you watch it? Did you watch it? Woo, wug wug the cow. I didn't even realize that was your name. Did you watch Hollywoodism? Am I wrong? I gotta know. Did you watch it? It's everything. Everything you need to know is in this movie. This is a movie that, like, it's the Bible. Yes, I did. I watched it yesterday afternoon after you mentioned it. What did you think? It takes you watching it skeptically and reading between the lines. I mean, if you just watch it like, oh, it's a Hollywood blockbuster movie, like, of course you're gonna be sucked in. But if you just look at, from the beginning, my favorite part is in the beginning when they have the old man and he's being interviewed and he's like, oh, I remember the pilgrims. The pilgrims. And they would run out of the houses yelling, the hooligans are coming, the hooligans are coming. And I remember my father and my older brother, they grabbed those clubs and they went out swinging. And fortunately they came back, but a lot of others didn't. Like, oh my God, it's such goofy shit. Why did he set it all up to make it look like his fucking brother and dad were killed? Oh, it's so crazy. And again, you have to look at the narrative. So the Jays were so despised that they were given these large plots of land for them to live on. And then every once in a while, a regime of swordsmen would come in and just start killing them. Oh, they would just kill them. But these neighborhoods, these yeshuvs, they were alive with song and dance and plays and it's so. They make it sound like there wasn't music, there wasn't entertainment, there wasn't any. They did it. They're the ones that did it all. And then if you look at like them bragging about how all of the movies are like secret code messages to the Jays. One of the things they loved to show was Fievel. I had no idea when I was a kid because I was so young. I mean, sure you maybe did, but I was young. And I thought Fievel was just Russian. I didn't realize Fievel was, oh, my little Fievel. And it's so fucking funny. But you don't see those things. You don't realize it until you have some dumbass like me pointing it out. And me pointing it out means I see it too. It's not just for your benefit. But I never realized Boiler Room was a J propaganda film. Did you? When I ask you about Boiler Room, what are you going to tell me? Oh yeah, that's that movie that's like Wall Street, right? It was that Wall, and they were like the salesman, and they were in the building, and they were selling the stocks. Yeah, that was it. Well, who's the main character? You don't remember any of it, but the main character is Seth. Seth, who gets the black girl. Yeah. Seth, who runs the casino in his house. Yeah. Seth, whose Jay father is a judge. And then Seth is the super, like, he's just this guy. He just comes up through it. He gets the black girl. He makes all the money. He actually gets off the FBI. He's just this super fucking cool dude. Good old Seth. And at one point, they actually talk about him and the other kid. One of the other guys, the big asshole. Remember his boss, like his initial boss guy was an asshole. they're in one of his cars and they're driving around, and it's after that big party scene where they go and they do all the drugs, and he's like, I never fit in with these guys, and being growing up in the J schools and these meatheads and he's going they like do it. You've completely overridden that part of the movie because you like the one part. And that's how it is with everything. Everything has this weird J undertone, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't remember that. I didn't remember that the first time I watched this. Think about Knockaround Guys, right? You ever seen Knockaround Guys? Knockaround Guys has probably the greatest ass beat scene of all time. 500. SLC Punk. Boom. I'm so glad you brought. I was trying to think of the other one. Another one. And SLC Punk is that exact same shit. Oh, you're on my wavelength, dude. I'm so glad you brought that up because it's that exact thing. I didn't think SLC Punk was a J propaganda movie. I watched it when I was in my 20s. It's one of those movies I fondly remember. I think it's this great thing. So then a couple of years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I decided to watch it. My boy Aisha was talking about it. And I watched it with my 20-something, my 2020-something mentality. And I was just like, holy shit. It's absolutely this sneaky J propaganda. He's actually a J kid. His dad's the J lawyer. He's the superstar. He's this, that, and the other. At the end of the movie, it all works out for him, and he becomes the J stockbroker and makes $1 gazillion and drives a Porsche. The dialogue in Hollywoodism was so annoyingly I can't even read this. Self-aggrandizing. I like that word. It was hard to watch, LOL. I had to take a bunch of breaks because I was so annoyed at how far up their own asses they are. I mean, again, this person's on my wavelength. And the thing is, if I was wrong, I'm sure this person would have said so. I've been literally begging you guys to watch this film since I watched it. If you're too lazy and you want to watch the breakdown, there's a few, I don't remember which one it is, but if you go back and look at my videos, I watch it over a 3-day period. We watch Hollywoodism. And it's just that much. Like you said, you end up taking so many breaks, and that's what I did. I ended up doing so many cuts it's like an hour and a half long. And it would take me 3 hours to get through a half hour. Because there's just so much to point out. Another film that's not so sneaky. Yeah. Yeah, that's so...
The higher the game you're on, the more frequent it happens.
What?
Game shutting off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Shut up. Go away. Jerk. He's making fun of me because I keep saying the Switch isn't a piece of shit product because the bitch shuts off for me like every 30 fucking minutes or so. It's me fucking crazy. It just shuts off. It just shuts down. And for him, he was like, oh yeah, it just happened again for the second time today. He's been playing it all day. And for the second time today, it finally shut down for him. Fuck him. He's such a lucky little bastard. Don't listen to movies and music you don't like if you already know what sucks. You understand, like, this is sort of an adult feed, right? Like, if you're going to come in and say stupid shit, if you just need attention, I guess that's your thing. But it's so strange that you brought up SLC Punk because I was trying to think of... I knew there was another example I wanted to bring, and I just couldn't remember what it was. Something I recently saw. But there's a lot more of it. I mean, I don't watch a lot of movies, so I can't, I can't bring up a bunch of shit offhand. But it's everywhere. It's just I mean, if I were to bring up Archie Bunker you would think, oh, he's the racist that talked bad about everyone.
Yes.
But you wouldn't realize that it was a huge J propaganda show, especially the second iteration. But what's always interesting is like, it's like Ari Shafir, right? Ari Shafir gets away with being known as this comedian who's an atheist because he talks bad about everyone, even Jays. But he doesn't, and nobody ever really does. Like the idea that they have all the money and they're cheap, like that was something you saw in Hollywoodism, right? Right in the beginning, they were like, look at how, because they always try to make the comparison, the parallel with black people and what black people went through. And it's just so insulting. But they'll be like, he was like, look at how the old Edison films portrayed black people. And, you know, they're portrayed as these, you know, kind of bumpkin, stupid people who sing and dance at the drop of a hat and fight really easily and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, and it's the same thing with the Jays. I mean, look, so they show that guy and he's getting arrested by the police. But look, he's going to buy his way out of it because we just have all the money. And we could just buy our way out of everything. That's not negative.
They're not going to be able to buy their way out of when they don't get hired for a job because they're discriminated against religion.
She's so cute. Yeah, I watched SLC when I was young and I thought it was so cool. I watched it again a few years ago and I was just mad. Exactly.
What was that?
You just watch it and you're like, this little motherfucker, these motherfuckers are shitheads. Why was this pushed on me like this?
Which movie?
SLC Punk. I don't think you know it. If you ever watch SLC, I bet you didn't know there's a 2. 2 is awful. Awful. It's got Machine Gun Kelly is like one of the main stars in it. And it's terrible. And it's all about how like what's his name? Heroin Bob's kid is like this weirdo fucking kid. And he gets it's such a terrible movie. And and the ghost of Heroin Bob is, but they obviously, they couldn't get what's his name to do it because he was too big. He was too much of a big star at that point. You know, with his Shaggy fame. Yeah, they made a second one. It's terrible. It's terrible. The show is funnier today, and the acting was... Yeah, you're lost. All in the Family, the acting was horrible. The show is horrible. The writing is horrible. And so much of it falls on Norman Lear's shoulder. Like, if there's one piece of shit I want outed in Hollywood... Well, Don Rickles is up there, but Norman Lear and this reverence for Norman Lear... is just crazy to me. But at the same time, like, Red Fox isn't funny. Richard Pryor isn't funny. George Carlin isn't funny. You think he is because you're supposed to think they are. They're not. I promise you. You can't find a fucking Richard Pryor record on YouTube. And if we watched it and listened, we'd sit there and laugh at it the whole time. Nearly as much as the dumbass audience laughs. Because, you know, he says fuck. So everybody laughs back then.
Nobody else was allowed to say it or didn't have the balls to say it.
No, they weren't allowed to. That's the issue. See, my wife is still... I hate saying it because it sounds like pompous and shit. But she's still where I was a few years ago. And in Hollywoodism, if Hollywoodism doesn't explain to you exactly what you need to know, then I don't know. Like, no, you didn't get to be on the Sullivan Show. You didn't, go look up Richard Pryor's biography. He's born and he's in a brothel. He's born to a brothel. The black guy is born and His mother's a prostitute in a brothel, and his dad's a fucking pimp. And he's raised in the brothel till he's like 12. And then he gets in trouble. And then he goes to high school. And then he joins the military, where there's some problem with the service, and he comes right back. Either it's the military or right out of high school, he joins the Mason Lodge, the crazy Mason, and it's just and it's like think about it. Do you really think? I don't know how old Richard Pryor was when he got his first Sullivan show. But what do you think Richard Pryor was going across the country booking comedy clubs all over and then just got discovered? Is that how you think it worked? No. I feel the same way about anything Jeff Goldblum. Dude, we are like kin. We should hang out. Jeff Goldblum is the worst worst actor. It must be nice to be a weird guy and not have to act. You just get to play the same fucking character over and over again in a movie and just get paid. Who the fuck thought that way?
He was perfect for The Fly, though.
Right, because he was weird and creepy.
Right.
Who the fuck ever thought, let's put Michael Rappaport in movies? Put Michael Rappaport's ugly, J, fake, he's from the hood, yo. He's from the hood. That kid grew up with the J.S. Silver spoon in his fucking mouth.
His bar mitzvah was off the hook.
Right. Yet he's from these streets, is he? Michael Rappaport, again, at the top of the list are people I'd love to have the one-on-one interview with. Because he's just such a piece of shit. My mother-in-law loves her some Jeff Goldblum. Ugh.
I never liked him. Like I said, I thought he was great in The Fly, but it's because I already thought he was creepy.
I mentioned a few days ago my uncle tried getting into the film industry. He was literally told by an exec in the 90s to change his name. They won't believe you're Jay with an Irish name. Yeah. If you look at the show Roseanne, because there's plenty of shows that the Jays make where they pretend to be white trash. Every single member of that cast is Jay, except John Goodman. But this is pre-internet days.
How is he not? He's Jewish?
No, he's not. No, he's a big fat white boy. But his last name is Goodman.
He changed it.
I don't know if he changed it or it just happened to be that way. But back then, when they're going over looking at the photos and doing, just to get the opportunity, they see that name and they go, okay, put him in the pile. What's even crazier is when you think about how many one-hit wonders there've been. So, I want to be a rock star, Dad. Okay, I'll call you Uncle Irving. And they don't write the song. They're given the song. They're given the band. They're given the performance. They get to go live that rock star life for 5-10 years. And then they get to go into real estate or some shit.
How come we don't see Tori Spelling all over the movies? Oh, because she sucked and is ugly.
And her dad's dead.
Oh, that's what happened
Her
too.
dad's been dead.
She was the least amount of talent I've ever seen. And she had nothing. Just her daddy. That was it.
Good old Aaron Spelling.
Didn't have a cute body, nothing.
But see, again, so if I go, okay, so who are the great, black Hollywood film moguls that you can think of?
Film moguls? None.
Like Tyler Perry now? But I mean, especially from back in the day. Think about that. Think about who can you even point to? Black people were shows like Good Times were allowed to be on TV, and black people gravitated towards it because there was nothing else. Sanford and Son, they live in a fucking garbage dump. They live in a junkyard. Yeah,
I just got something crazy good for your character.
sweet. Too bad I can't use it.
Oprah.
Apparently Goodman is a Welsh surname. Sounds J enough, I guess. Good man. Yeah. Huh? Oprah and her dude Stedman.
I mean, if Oprah just pretend she's not black, I guess.
Well, no. They needed to have. They always need to have. It's like Joe Rogan, right? Joe Rogan's fame really started to take off as George Carlin started to get too old, and
Oh,
right?
oh God.
So
there's
they
no
have to.
comparison there.
They have to. No, there is a huge comparison. Joe's much funnier, no doubt. But as far as the character, the societal character we're given, Joe's the conspiracy guy. Joe's the no bullshit guy. Joe's the comedian. Joe is allowed to be Joe. And they always do that. They have to, if they didn't have an Oprah, then it would be like, well, how come there are no famous black women? How come there are no black women that get to be, rise up to the top? Well, there's Oprah. They just give it to us. It's like, and then there's the Diddy aspect of it, Imagine how many parties Oprah hosted. Right? Yeah, Diddy, you throw the best parties. Let's have the party at your house. Yeah, let's do all this stuff at your house. Because you have the best parties, Diddy.
Oh, you taped all of us? Well, guess what? We're going to burn all the shit down and that evidence will be gone. So go ahead and explain that shit to somebody.
That'll be a conspiracy theory.
Yep. See who believes that.
Crazy conspiracy theories. I mean, again,
California wildfires happen.
imagine if I made Hollywoodism. And instead of having Jays be interviewed the whole time, it was all people of color. Asians, blacks, whatever. You think that movie would be allowed to exist? It would be panned as the most anti-Semitic. Well, they'd say anti-Semitic, which isn't accurate, but it would just oh, how dare you say all these things that the Jays control Hollywood, and if it weren't for the Jays, there wouldn't be an American dream, and that's all anti-Semitism. That's why I love Hollywoodism. Because it's not Alex Jones, it's not Loose Change, it's not any of these conspiracy theories. Same thing with Whoopi. There you go. Whoopi Goldberg. Back in the fucking 70s and 80s when they didn't know. They just looked through the names and Whoopi Goldberg. Okay, cool. Let's give that audition. And then when you show up and it's you purposefully show up late, so it's half hour to showtime, and they go, oh my God, well, we can't, you better be funny. And they just give her the shot. And then she's willing.
Sorry now.
No, she's willing to play the role. So one of the best examples of it is Whoopi was on The View, and Whoopi said something like, well, Whoopi is on the far, from our perspective, the far left side. That's her seat. Joy is in the middle. It's Joy's show. Joy Behar, or whatever her name is. It's Joy's show. And the rest are her co-hosts, right? And Whoopi said something like, the Holocaust wasn't all about the Jays. There were other people that were killed as well. She got suspended from her show. Joy suspended her from the show. I don't remember how many days it was. But she then had to come back, and her stipulation for coming back was that she had to make an apology. She had to apologize for saying such horrible things, for suggesting that Jays weren't the only ones that died in the Holocaust. Her real last name is Johnson, but they needed a token black actress. And the thing is, it's interesting because usually, you know, usually they go with the fat mammy character. You know, Nell Carter, Shirley from What's Happening. You know, they love them. The Florida from Good Times. They love the fat mammy. You know, she could put on her red bandana and hop right on the fucking Mrs. Butterworth bottle. They love that shit. They think the mammy is just so funny. Just like they think guys in dresses is funny. Do you guys think guys in dresses is funny? I mean, how many different movies can you do the same fucking nonsense? I love how Dave Chappelle made a big deal out of it and said he would never do it. Go watch Good Men in Tights. Dave Chappelle in a fucking dress. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he's in a dress. Maybe that's the movie he's talking about. And he makes it sound like he didn't wear the dress, but he wore the dress. Why were you arrested? Yep. I was arrested. There's a whole video on why I was falsely arrested. Had nothing to do with the crazy bullshit you're trying to suggest. Because again, what are you going to say? What is anybody going to say? What are any of these dumb Jays going to come in and be like, that's not true. We don't control Hollywood. Look at your boy Woody Allen. Look at everything that's known.
Decades ago.
He brought a girl over from Asia, raised her as his daughter, and then fucking married her when she was old enough to marry, and he was like 56 years old or 40. Like, what? What the fuck? And then you look at the Ronan Farrow shit and all the stories about Woody and the train set and all, man. If that was, you know, Darnell Johnson, we wouldn't know anything about it. How about how when it's the black guy, how come it's never like, you know, like it's never like this stud, beautiful, you know, people talk about like Sidney Poitier and shit. That dude wasn't he like Haitian or some shit? But these are all sweet ass looking guys. All those famous black actors are always sweet as shit. And then you get guys like Sammy Davis Jr. Why was that guy popular? Why? Because he was willing to play the nigga. He was willing to play the little boy, the go fetch it, the step and fetch it character. You know, you go look at the old, like, Frank Sinatra, all that shit where they were all... Dude, the shit that they would say to Sammy, and Sammy would just... big old mouth open laugh. Who can make the sun shine? The Candyman with his lisp. And, oh... There's this one performance of Candyman where he's in, like, a one-piece suit, skin tight. And his stuffed ass dick is just flopping all around. But you think like Sammy was 3 years old when he started in Hollywood or in the vaudeville and shit like that. He never went to school. Can you imagine the horrible things that were done to little Sammy Davis? Sing Little Boy or Stevie Wonder. Little Stevie Wonder. How does a black kid get discovered? Think about the Jacksons, right? The Jacksons were supposedly in Ohio. Their horrible slave driving dad made them practice all the time so that one day they could go to a local talent show and just get discovered. Like, we're all told we got to get in a van and drive across the country to get discovered and make a name for ourselves and build a. They don't have to do that. Eminem didn't do that.
Master P did. All out country, so or whatever it was.
Master P is MP3. Percy Miller III, MP3. Like, he made MP3, that whole that was, he made money off all that.
That's cool.
Because Master P is one of those guys where, like, genius is everywhere. And I don't know. I have such a hard time with all. I don't even know. I don't know about these characters I've been shown. I know when I look at, like, just any of it. Go look at old Snoop Dogg videos. This fucking goofy afro and his pimp suits. Like, the idea of a pimp being this, that's what black guys are. Black guys are pimps. Pimps are cool. Pimps are the lowest form of fucking life on the planet. Pimps are awful. Awful, horrible, horrible fucking people. The greatest pimp of them all, Iceberg Slim, he got out of the pimping. He according to the thing, he got out of pimping and started writing books and shit. But that whole thing, like, look what's been done to black people. What it means to be black. Where'd that all come from? Black people get blamed for gangster rap, but there's no gangster rap without Jimmy Iovine and Jerry Heller. Those are the fucking record executives, the record companies that had all the strings to be able to put together Niggas with Attitude, which was a boy band put together and then given guns to be shown on the MTV Rap channel, whatever it was. Yo, MTV Raps, when all the white kids got home from school, showed these black kids, or these black guys with guns riding around LA without getting fucked with by the police. I'm a gangster. Look at me. I'm a gangster. I sag my pants like they do in prison to show they get fucked in the butt. It's all gay guys. It was all gay guys that were willing to blow the Jays and let the Jays get back shots and all that bullshit, that were allowed to have stardom. Go look at Grandmaster Flash's video. Don't push me, cause I'm close to the edge. Go look at that video. You tell me that's a straight man. The first rap song is Rapper's Delight. That song's about fucking, and you ever go to a neighbor's house and the food just ain't no good? And the chicken tastes like wood. Come on. And then at one point, he's just saying nonsense. I said a hip, a hop, a hip, a hip, a hip, hip, hop, a your hope stop, a rocket to the bang, bang, boogie, set up the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. What the fuck? What the fuck is that shit? They just stole the Chic beat. They just stole it. They called themselves the Sugar Hill Gang. Sugar Hill, yep.
Because a gang would be caught dead singing like that, right?
Well, I mean, that's just it. Like, you see all this. Have you ever seen what real, like, gangster, like, thugs are? Scary. Like, the real guys, those guys aren't flashy. They've already learned not to be flashy. The baddest dude in the hood, you don't know him. He rides around in a piece of shit. He doesn't flash. He doesn't show anything. And you look in his eyes and you don't see anything. It's just scary. Oh, let's see. The Beef's here. What's up, Beef? But see, it's all like. Do you know that NWA dropped their album on 8/8/88? Sure, that was just a coincidence. At the time, black people were all about like, it's a different world than where you come from. Direct like shot at white people. Black people were all cross colors and Malcolm X and learn your history and Africa, Africa, Africa. And sure, that was good and marketable for a little while. They gave Spike Lee okay, Spike, you be the black guy now. You make all the black movies. God, Spike Lee movies are the worst. Do the Right Thing is the worst fucking movie. It is so fucking bad. Go watch it again. It is terrible. Terrible. But they in one fell swoop, black music, black everything went from like know your identity and party, have a good time with each other, dance, love the beautiful black women and blah, all this other shit, to like overnight, like, all right, now it's all about shoot nigga, kill nigga, shoot nigga, kill bitches, niggas, hoes, bitches, cold, pour the champagne on the hoes and the bitches and the nigga and the shoot them and the drugs. Where do you think that shit came from? They got scared. They didn't like, they saw what happened in the 60s. They saw what happened when they gave their own kids all those great record contracts and told them to be the counterculture. Well, it fucking affected them. And it affected the culture and the country. And they almost lost control. But don't worry. They brought in disco. They brought in cocaine. And they sure stopped that shit, didn't they? And then in the 80s, at the end of the 80s, early 90s, again, white people, your music went from rock and roll, get drunk, maybe crash up a hotel room, bang a bunch of broads, maybe do some cocaine, to now we're going to shoot heroin and our life sucks. And yeah, shoot heroin.
That shit was
Everywhere. My generation loves to wear t-shirts over long sleeve shirts. You know why? To hide our track marks that aren't there. Because t-shirts were cool shirts. All the cool shirts were t-shirts. They always have the cool shit on them. Nobody makes cool long sleeve shirts. So you get your long sleeve shirt because you got to cover up your arms, and then you put your t-shirt over it. And you got to have your flannel because you're always cold because you're all junked out all the time. But that's what they gave us. Just like that. It just switched. Now we're going to bring heroin music in. Oh, there goes another one of your icons. He died. Yeah, no, he shot himself in the face with a shotgun. Impossibly. But I mean, how many of you know that Jimi Hendrix, you all think Jimi Hendrix is asphyxiated on his wine? Because he passed out having taken too many sleeping pills and alcohol at the same time and asphyxiated in his sleep. That's the narrative, right? Well, the actual truth is the autopsy says he drowned in wine. Meaning somebody had to pour it down his throat past the point of regurgitation that he aspirated and breathed wine into his lungs. Not vomit and shit. He had wine all in his lungs. Because he was drowned. Because Jimi Hendrix was cross cultures. Jimi Hendrix wasn't black or white music. Imagine the impact Jimi Hendrix could have had as that civil rights movement kept going. Not to mention, clearly bisexual. Who do you think is writing these modern hip-hop songs? Give you a hint. It starts with a J. To some degree, it's who approves the hip-hop songs.
edits.
Not just edits. Look, we hired you to be Thug Nasty. You write Thug Nasty music, or we'll just ship your ass out to nowhere. You'll become nothing. You'll just disappear. You know? That's how that works. They have their big bosses like Baby from the Hot Boys, from that whole thing. And the stories about this guy are just a mile long. The raping of Lil Wayne and BG and all that other shit. There are so many stories about that guy. Nope, he's not in any trouble. But they have their gatekeepers. See, the story goes. So what happens is you're some young 20-something. You don't know shit. You haven't educated yourself even a little bit, and you're probably poor. And you're struggling to make the ends meet. And one day you get a phone call. And it's like, "Hi. Hey, yo, this is Who's a Jigga with Atlantic Records." And you're like, "Shut up, Steve." And they're like, "No, this is who is this is Irving Labinowitz." No, this is somebody from. They probably have somebody that looks like you, sounds like you. Like, they've already checked into you. They know whether you're going to be a complier, whether you're going to be somebody that tells. You know, they already know all that. But they're like, "All right, well, we really like what we've heard of yours. Actually, Dr. Dre, he's here right now. Hey, Dr. Dre, say what's up." "What's up, man? It's Dr. Dre. Like your shit." And you're like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And they're like, "So we're going to fly you out and we'll just have a meeting. Do you think you could spend a couple days here in New York with us? Here in LA with us?" And you're like, "Well, let me check my schedule." And they're like, "Oh, come on. Don't worry about your job. You're not going to be working there anymore anyway, right?" And you're like, "Fuck yeah, okay. I'll be on the next plane or whatever." And they're like, "All right, well, no, don't worry. We'll send you your ticket. We'll take care of everything. We'll have a car to pick you up, and we'll take care of the hotel. You're our guest, so we're gonna have a good time. And can't wait to make music with you." And you're just like, "Holy fucking shit!" Calling all your friends and family and telling everybody, "I fucking told you, nah. No, you can't have no money, motherfucker. Fuck you, nah." So then you get on the plane. It's first class. They fly you out. You get off the plane, and just like in a movie, there's a guy with a hat, and he's holding a sign with your name on it. And you're like, "Oh my God, for me?" He's like, "Yeah, Mr. So-and-so, Mr. Williams, come on." And you get in, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I heard your tape. It's pretty good stuff, man. You're really going to go far. These guys, they were really into you." Like, this guy's been programmed and everything he's supposed to say. And they you ride into New York, and they to the Grand Bellagio Hotel, Trump. Walk into the hotel, and you're like, "Yeah, I have a room for Mr." And they're like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Williams, yeah, okay, come on," because they're all in on it. Because just one of 5 people they've done this to this week. They have a certain group of people at the hotel, and a certain group of people on the certain planes, and a certain group of drivers, and they have it all planned out. And you're up in your hotel room, and you're just, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." And they're like, "All right, well, come on, we gotta go. We gotta go to the record company." And you're like, "Oh, okay, let's go." And you pull up to the record company, and you go in, and as you walk up to the front desk, they're like, "Hey, Mr. Williams, yeah." And you're like, "You knew what?" They're like, "Yeah, we heard your stuff. It's really good. They're upstairs waiting for you. Go on up." Can't wait to see you again. Good meeting you. And you're like, holy shit, this is it. Fucking making it. And you go up to the office and you're walking and you see all these gold plaques everywhere, gold records, and you look in one room and it's like Wyclef John's there. You know, Wyclef, where the fuck did you go? I didn't even know you were a guy anymore. And, and look in another room and it's Selena Gomez. I don't know who these fucking people are. I don't know. And you go right in and you sit right down with Adam Bergstein. And he's like, hey, and Dr. Dre's there. And they're like, hey, yeah, you got some really, really great talent. We really like what you're doing. But hey, you know what? It's getting kind of late. Why don't we do all our business stuff tomorrow? How about tonight you come party with a rock star? Party like a rock star. And that's all you've ever wanted. You're young and dumb. And you're like, fuck yeah, let's go. I want to go to the club with you. And you ride through the, you're in a limo, you're in a fucking Lamborghini, you're in whatever. Take you to the club. You walk right into the club, you walk past all the people that are, oh my God, that's Diddy. And you're walking with this motherfucker. You just can't believe it's all happening. And you go to the VIP and you're starting to see like the way these people treat everyone around them. And yet the people around them just love it. They're rude, they're shitty. The girls are just throwing themselves. Some hot broads that like some tens, absolute tens. You've never been higher than a 6 on your best day. And a couple of tens are all over you. And you're just like, holy shit. And they're like, you want something to drink? And fuck yeah, I want to drink. And you go to the bathroom and you're looking in the mirror like, okay, you got to pull it together. I know this is everything you ever wanted. Don't blow this opportunity. Go out there, have a good time. Don't lose yourself, okay? Okay, we got this. Go back out there, you drink your drink. The next thing you know, you wake up in your bed and the alarm's going off. And you're like, what the fuck? Oh, what the fuck? Alarm's going off. Oh shit, okay. What the hell? What the hell? I remember taking the drink and at the club and the dance. Took the drink. How the fuck did I get back here? And then you look over and it's 9:30. You were supposed to be there at 9. Or you're supposed to be there at 9:45 or whatever. And you, oh shit. And you jump up and you go running out and you run down to the front desk and they're like, yes, can we help you, sir? And you're like, yes, it's me, remember? And they're like, sir, can we help you? And you're like, was there a car? I'm supposed to go to the record company. Is there a car? And they're like, sir, you're going to have to get yourself an Uber. And you're like, oh, okay. I didn't realize I was going to have to pay for anything. Well, okay, it can't be more than a few dollars, all right? So you get your Uber and take you to the record company or the cab or whatever. And this time you're like, oh my God, I'm going to sign the papers. And this cabbie, this Uber driver, they've been here 100 times. And they're like, okay, man, good luck. And you walk inside the record company and you walk up to the front desk like, hey, what's up? And they're like, yes, sir, how can I help you? And you're like, what the fuck? Why is everybody treating me like this? Okay, well, yeah, I'm Guy Williams. I was here yesterday. You said you like my scene. Yes, sir, they're waiting for you. You were supposed to be here 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I know. There was no car for me. So, what, sir, they're waiting for you. Okay, thanks. And you go running up and you go up into the office. And this time it's no like high fives and shit. They're all sitting at the table and now there's a whole bunch of other J's there. And you're like, who are all these J's? It's kind of weird. And you sit down at the table. And they're like, did you have a good time last night? And you're like, I don't know. I can't remember. I think so. And they're like, all right, well, this is what we're prepared to offer you. And you look over and you're like, what do you mean? I'm going to get 0.5%, 0.5 cents of every dollar. So what? You own my likeness throughout the universe in all of perpetuity. What the fuck is this? And you're like, this is a horrible contract. I was making more money on my own. Like, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, horrible contract. You're not gonna sign it? And you're like, I don't think I should. This isn't very good. And they're like, okay, dim the lights. And you're like, what? And the lights dim, and the TV comes on. And on that screen is you. And maybe it's a child. Maybe it's a passed out girl or a beat up girl or something, and you're having sex with them. You're doing something. You're getting a blowjob. You're something from a child, something. And you're like, what the fuck is that? I would never do that shit. And they're like, we know you wouldn't. And we'd hate for this tape to get out. So why don't you go ahead and sign this contract and we'll make some money together, okay? You're going to be a rock star. And you're just like, okay, I don't know what to do here. Okay, and you sign. And once you sign that shit, that's it. There's no breaking it. That shit is what goes on. That's why Dave Chappelle wants you to boycott the Dave Chappelle show. Because he doesn't even own that shit. They own that shit. They own his name and likeness. It's unreal. And don't get it twisted. Dave Chappelle works. He does his job. He's a good boy. Lately, it seems like whenever some big shit happens and they need it explained to us the best way possible, they bring out Dave Chappelle, especially on Saturday Night Live. It just happens to work out. Dave Chappelle was scheduled for Saturday Night Live the week Kanye said what he said. And not us known about it had the Jays not told us to care. Right? It's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. Anyway, I was on way longer than I wanted to be, so I'll be back tomorrow. Go get your free download. It'll be in the description, as well as a link to Hollywoodism and a link to our Facebook page, one of our songs. Go check it out. Go get your free download. Have a great night. Pedophiles, kill yours. Oh, wait, what'd Wugu say? The story is how SLC Punk actually happened. Sign your life away and have your career under constant threat if you don't comply. See you tomorrow. Pedophiles, kill yourself.